Slash chords. Slash chords are chords that are better explained by showing a triad or some other chord and then a bass note on the bottom. It's kind of geared towards keyboard players. Keyboard players tend to think, okay, I have, an E minor over here, and then I throw a C in the bass, and obviously that's C major 7, but you can still think of it as, E minor over C. So whatever is under is the bass note. So it'd be E minor over C. So it'd literally be you write E minor, and you have a slash, and then C is underneath. The main reason this is useful is because it implies your root movement. So it allows you to voice lead. For example, let's say I have a song in C, right? And I'm trying to figure out some chords that go with this root movement that I really like. I really like this. So I just walked straight down the C major scale. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. I went straight down. But I want to find chords that go with that because I have this sound of this song in my head, but I really want to have that down. And I want to explain that to the other people I'm playing with in the band. Because if I just write the different chords, it's not going to show you that specific root movement where, that's the key point of the song. That's the feeling of the song. Because, different songs have different motifs and different, points of accentuation. And if that root movement is a key element of your song, you're going to want that written out explicitly. So if I use my slash chords and I use those root notes that I want to use, I can come up with a C major. I can go to a G major but put B in the bass. This would be G over B. A minor. So instead of just writing C, G, A minor, where my roots would go, if I write C and then G over B, B is the third in G, it gives me that descending bass line, then A minor, so then I can go to G, or since I already did the G with my B in the bass, I can do A minor 7 with a G in the bass, right? Because the 7th in A minor 7 is G. This is a very common sound. F. I have E over C, very cool sound. Or sorry, C over E. D minor. And then C. Now I have all this written out, but it gives you this cool sound that that's the real point of using slash chords for the most part. You're showing your root movement so you can voice lead, you can show bass lines. It's very cool. The other thing about slash chords is you can use them to accentuate other notes than the root and still get the same chord function. And there are two main ways you do this. The first one is called a 5 over 1. So if you're in the key of C major, 5 is G major, right? So if you were to write a G over C, that would be a 5 over 1. So you have a C, and then you have a G major on top of it. So it's your 5 over top of your 1. Now, this isn't a normal diatonic chord shape, but we're playing all diatonic notes. So what does this sound like? Well, it sounds like an incomplete major 9th chord, really, because you have your root, your 5th, that would be your major 7th, so that implies a major 3rd even though you're not playing it, and then that's your 9. So since this gives an incomplete major 9 sound, or major 7th, because that's the main component of a major 9, this is most generally played as a 1 or a 4 chord. So in the key of C, this is a nice substitution for C major 7. It's even a cool vamp right there. Bump it up to F. Very, very cool sounds. When you go to solo over that, you can focus on your C major, you can focus on your G major, right? It all works. Or even your E minor, because that is the upper triad of your C major 7. The last one we want to look at is 4/5. So stay in the same key. Your 4 chord is going to be F, but it's over 5. So that is F over G, your 4/5. So because we have a 5 in the bass, right, we know this is a dominant style sound. If we look at our intervals, we have a root, we have a flat 7, that's a 9, and that's an 11. That's like sus. So this is like dominant 11 sus, dominant 9 sus. It's kind of unclear because it doesn't give us anything that makes us think of a third. It could be a major third or a minor third. So basically, the only thing you need to look at is what does it resolve to? If it's a 5 chord and it resolves to a major chord, then it's a major third. If this resolves to a minor chord, then this contains a minor third. Because basically, tones that are ringing out tend to want to continue to ring out into the next chord that they're going to. So I have a bunch of different chord shapes listed below for all the ones we've talked about. I want you to post a progression of your choosing. You know, think of some cool stuff to come up with, and then solo over it. And then when you solo over it, make sure that you explain to me and to all the other people on the site what chord scale you're thinking about and what the function of each of these chords are, so we know that you understand what you're playing over. Good luck.